Hello, Brian. Welcome to Metal Chaos. It's been a while.
Hello, Demetrius. Nice to see you again.
Love the Saxon backdrop. It's not a backdrop, but it's on the background.
It just
So
happens to be there.
it's yes, it popped up. So I will start with the obvious question. How were you approached to join Saxon?
Okay, so in 2022, there was a festival called Stone Dead,
Mhm.
and the management phoned me up and said, Paul Quinn has got COVID. And they said, would you be interested in learning the set and stepping in for the gig? And I said, yeah, okay. So this is only about a week before the gig. And I said, okay. So I started learning the set. And then about maybe the Thursday or Friday, they said Paul's going to be okay for the gig. He's not too bad now. But thanks for learning the set and all that. And I think that planted a seed that they thought, okay, well, if he's prepared to do the work and learn the set and all that, because I think we've got to know each other. I think Diamond Head have played about 40 shows with Saxon over the years, and we've talked backstage and catering and stuff like that. So I think they realised I'm a nice guy. I'm not going to be an egomaniac type thing. So then, come March of last year, I got another phone call from the management saying, Paul Quinn is stepping down from Saxon. Would I be interested in taking over and doing all the gigs? And they said, we've got festivals coming up. We're going to South America, etc. And I'm like, oh, yeah, brilliant. What a fantastic opportunity for a guy of my age, you know. And apparently they wanted a British guy. They wanted a similar age, somebody, if possible, connected with the new wave of British heavy metal. And so because I have good NWOBHM credentials, I think I fitted that bill pretty well.
Well, I like that you said some relationship with new way of British heavy metal. Come on, man.
Yeah. So
You were
that
part of
narrows it down quite a bit, doesn't it? That British, similar age, related to the new wave British heavy metal. So anyway, I said yes, of course, it'd be fantastic. I love the idea of a new challenge, learning new songs, playing with different people, and it's great. I jumped at it, and I've been enjoying doing the gigs and working on the album. I didn't expect to be asked to
right
to work on the album, but they asked if I'd got material, and I said yes and sent them over. I mean, now on the net, you just click of a mouse, you can send files, can't you?
Of course. So, did you have any reservations joining Saxon, especially with Diamond Head still active?
No, because I mean, it's a slightly selfish decision, isn't it? But if a bigger band comes along and poaches you and says, you're going to go for it. I think everybody in the band realised it was a great opportunity. They've all been, in the support band many times, and they know how tough it is. We all know how tough it is to keep Diamond Head going, but to see Saxon, playing big venues with a big crew and lighting and all that, is obviously more attractive to me than just, another tour sitting in the van with the gear in the back and dragging 4x12s up flights of stairs. So no, it was obviously a step up, and I think the other guys could see that. Yeah, it's got to be. You've got to do it. It's the right thing to do. Although, because I'm the original member in Diamond Head, it's not like they can just replace me, isn't it? It's not like they just get a dep in and crack on. So it is tricky to maintain Diamond Head whilst I'm in Saxon. But I had no hesitation about joining.
And you said that you were involved and you sent some ideas for the new album. Did you, although it's not a fair comparison, how would you compare the experience of writing songs about Diamond Head and then for Saxon?
It's quicker. I just, as I say, I sent a load of stuff over, and Biff said, I like that one and I like this one. And I thought, oh, great. So then he said, come up. Biff lives in York, you see. I'm here in the Midlands, Birmingham. And I went up to Biff's and he said, I like that bit, but we need a different middle eight, or I don't like that bit, and we want a third verse. And so we'd rewrite the song, and then I would go away and re-demo it and send it again. And we got the songs together like that. So there's 3 of mine on the new album. And I made a couple of little suggestions to some of the other songs, because I'd listen through and I'd say, a couple of times Biff would say, this bit's in the wrong key for me. So we'd try and work on it and come up with something that would be suitable for what he wants. And then he would send, you know, the demo back to, you know, Nibs or somebody. And they could re-record it and send it back. And so that's, you know, sometimes with Saxon, like Nigel lives in Texas and Nibs lives in Germany. Doug's in Brighton, I'm in the Midlands, and Biff's up in York. So it's very hard to get together. But you can do things over the net, as you know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, it came together like that until we actually got the shapes, and then the shapes of the songs, you know, the arrangements. And then we'd go into rehearsal. And then again, we'd try things out, and Biff would say, change that bit and do that bit different. And we'd work out where the solo's going to go and things like that. And it came together pretty quickly, quicker than some of the Diamond Head stuff. You know, Diamond Head seems to take a long time, you know, to get albums together. I mean, our last time was 5 years ago, and we're not, you know, we're not ready for another one yet. So it's great to have the energy and the impetus with this new Saxon album.
So the 3 songs that you mentioned, it's a title track, right?
Yeah.
Guillotine, and then 1066.
Correct.
So did you write lead parts or rhythmic parts?
I do the music, and then Biff would decide where the solos go, you know, and sometimes it'd be like Doug will start a solo and I'll finish it, or vice versa, you know, I'll just do it. But we try to do a solo each if possible, you know, with it in the Saxon framework. It seems to work nicely like that.
I don't want to take credit for that, but I will toot my own horn for a bit. I sensed that there was something new in Madame Guillotine, so I was trying to see, is there a little bit of Brian there? And I'm so happy to hear that that's the case.
Yeah, it's an idea I've had for a while, and I demoed it at home. I've had it, you know, a few years, and I would occasionally re-record it if I come up with a new part, you know. And so I've got Pro Tools LE at home.
Ooh.
And I've had that since 2006. So especially during lockdown, I was able to spend a lot of time in the studio working on song ideas, and not necessarily for Diamond Head, but I just thought it might come in for something. You never know, you might get an offer of something, and then, you know, there you go, you've got Biff saying, have you got any song ideas? So I thought, okay, have a listen to these, I've got these. So, and Madame Guillotine was one that he liked. Yeah.
Is it appropriate to say that it sounds a little bit modern?
A little bit modern.
I think so.
Somebody said it sounded like Megadeth. So
I think they were talking about Countdown to Extinction, right? The rhythmic part that goes like that.
And somebody else said they thought it sounded like Alice Cooper. So, but what do I know?
Yeah, whatever ticks your clock, that's fine.
Yeah, fine.
And then how was the experience working with Andy Snipe for the production? Did you all go into the studio to record, or you did separately?
Yeah, Andy's great. I've never worked with him before, although I've known him for quite a while. Because he played guitar in Sabbath, and we've bumped into each other before now at airports and festivals and things. And I've been up to his studio. In fact, Megadeth recorded there in Derby, Belper, and I was invited up while Megadeth were recording, so I got to meet Andy and we talked. But yes, so what happens is the drums and the bass were recorded in Germany after we'd finished rehearsing in this old cinema place that the band used. Then the guitars were recorded at Biff's studio. Myself and Doug went for like a week, and we put down all the guitars with our front of house engineer, Jackie, because Andy was at the time, I think he was in America, working on the Judas Priest album. So we did the guitars ourselves, and then finally Biff did the vocals at home. And then I think everything was sent over to Andy to start mixing.
Okay.
But he wanted some extra guitar parts, and he wanted to change some vocal parts and add some harmonies and what have you. And so I went up to Derby, and Doug came up, and at another time Biff came up, and I think Paul Quinn went as well and did some guitar. So we reconvened at Andy's, probably while he's mixing. He'd be mixing, then we'd turn up and he'd work on the tracks and then just continue. And so I think he mixed for like a week or so, maybe 10 days. But it was all done pretty quickly, and it's turned out great. Even Andy was really impressed, and he said this is a great sounding album.
Oh yeah, and I will call Saxon a well-oiled machine. Although in this album, as I said, there are new stuff. I like the darker cover artwork. I cannot remember another Saxon album that had that, that dark sense in or the aesthetics with an angel and that's. Do you know how the collaboration with Brian Blessed happened?
Yes, apparently he's a friend of the band. Biff said he's known him for a long time, because I think he comes from a similar area where Biff was brought up, born, Barnsley way. So I believe Brian, Blessed as we pronounce it, is from that same area. And they've asked him over the years to do a couple of things, like apparently he introduced the band when they played possibly Bloodstock. So they've known each other for a while, and Biff asked for if he'd do that introduction on the album.
And you mentioned Paul Quinn. He was also involved in the somewhat in the song making, right?
I don't think he was involved in the writing, no, but he came to Andy's and did some lead guitar.
Okay, so he has not stepped out, but he's still involved in Saxon.
Yes, that was the plan all along. I think he'd had enough of touring.
Okay.
As he's got older, he probably just thinks I've had enough of being on the road, because it is, Saxon work a lot, and you've got to really want to do it. But I think they were sad to see him go, and I think Biff said he asked him several times, "Are you sure about that you want to step down, you want to leave?" But he was adamant that he wanted to do something else and step away, and he's had enough of probably, because Saxon have done a lot of albums, haven't they? This is the 24th studio album, and that is an intense work rate to tour it, to write it, record it, to tour it, on and on for years and years and years.
Oh, absolutely. Do you know all the songs that the band wrote made it in the album, or do you have some ideas?
There was one got left off. I think it was to do with Biff, not being happy with the lyrics and finishing. And we realized the album was 42 minutes anyway, so it's long enough, especially with vinyl these days. They don't like it to go over 40 minutes, do they?
Yes. So
the decision was made. It was Biff's decision to leave one of the songs off, and that could always resurface in the future.
Yeah. So we touched a little bit upon on the touring side of things, and you have the co-headlining tour with Uriah Heep for North America.
Yeah.
Do you know how long the sets will be? Because it's co-headlining.
Yes, I'm not sure. Again, I'm the new guy. I don't know all the answers to these questions. I would imagine at least an hour.
Okay.
Uriah Heep may have an hour. They may have 50 minutes. I don't know. And then maybe Saxon have got an hour, maybe even hour 10.
Mhm.
And then a Priest would probably have an hour and a half or something. But it's such a big tour. It's so great. I'm so looking forward to it. 3 classic bands on the same bill.
And you will be exchanging the last spot on the billing, right? Who is gonna close the night?
Oh, is this for the US tour with Saxon
Right.
and Uriah? Yes, I believe so. Sorry, I was thinking of the Judas Priest tour. Yes, that's where I think it'll go. It's swapping backwards and forward. One night it'll be Saxon, the next night it'll be Uriah Heep. But that tour we might do longer sets. I don't know. The Judas Priest tour, I would imagine Uriah Heep and Saxon will have to not do too long because of fitting it all in.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was very selfish when I I acted selfishly when I asked the question because I am in the US and I was asking
The
because
US tour, yeah.
there are 2 shows back to back in the area, so I was thinking, well, it's a good idea to go to both.
Oh, and you might see Saxon on headline one night.
Right,
You might
right.
the next. That'll be interesting, won't it? Especially in the same area, if people go to both. Yeah,
Correct. So it's
great. I'm looking forward to it. I've never really done a big tour of the US. This would be 7 weeks, and the longest I've been is 5 weeks. And normally, we're in a van, stopping at motels and stuff, and we've got the gear in the back. But this will be like with a tour bus and crew and all that, so it'll be a bit easier, and I'm looking forward to it.
And I imagine that Saxon, due to the visa, it will be visiting the States soon, at least in a 1-year span. So you will get another piece of that touring.
Yeah, possibly.
Has the band discussed how many songs from the new album you will be playing live?
A Biff's decision.
Okay.
Biff's the head honcho, so it'll be up to him. I would imagine we'll do 3, but there may be more, something like that.
Speaking of playing live, is there any particular song that you like from Saxon? You love, not like, sorry, you love playing live, and then if there is any song that you find a little bit challenging, although with your experience, I can.
No, I know what you're saying. Yes, I've always really liked Motorcycle Man. I just like the turnaround, the way the riff works. It took me a while to when I first heard it years ago. I thought, how come that riff sounds different? And it works. Turns out it plays the riff once, then all the rest of the verse he plays it twice. They play it twice. So once I'd got that, I thought, oh yeah, that's brilliantly simple. That is, the first one's 1 and everything else is 2. So I've always liked Motorcycle Man. I've always liked Wheels of Steel. I've always liked 747. They're great to play. But challenging wise, there's a lot of fast down picking, and I'm not that used to that in Diamond Head. So I've had to work on that a bit, my right hand technique. I've got a metronome and I've been trying to improve my right hand. Songs like Power and Glory, for example, or Never Surrender. You have to really, and Princess of the Night is all down picking, and that's hard. But I can do them all, but I'm having to concentrate a lot. The first gig, especially, I was a bit nervous, and I had to put my ultimate focus onto trying to get through that first gig without screwing it up.
So hearing you talking about all these things and how humble are you, I can definitely understand why Saxon chose you.
Thank you.
Feel that. Don't think it's. I think. Anyways.
Yeah.
Last question for you, Brian. Although you did say something about that. What is the status for Diamond Head? Are you thinking about the next album, or you have put it on the side for the time being? And
we've decided to pause it for now.
Okay.
And we're still having talks and meetings and trying to work out the best way forward. In the past, we've been doing festivals in the summer. So like last year, we did 3 festivals in the summer, and 2 of them clashed with Saxon. So that was tricky. And so I've said, I can't just be available 365 days of the year to do, for a gig that comes in on the 10th of July or something, because it could easily clash with the Saxon gig.
Right.
And I don't want to say to Saxon, I can't do that gig because I've got a Diamond Head gig. So I said, let's pause Diamond Head and see how the land lies in, 12 months' time or something. And in the meantime, we can work in the background, we can write, we can plan what we want to do, what everybody wants to do, and move forward. But yeah, I've just had to say I can't just take gigs, willy-nilly while I'm doing Saxon, because it's bound to clash. It's
Yes.
inevitable.
Unless you have Diamond Head open up for Saxon.
Well, I don't want to do that either, because that's very tiring.
Oh yes, oh yes.
Very tiring. And also, we've done a lot of dates with Saxon. I think we've done about 40 dates, including a big tour last year. So you can't keep doing having the same support band. And yeah, I think it might wear me out if I tried to do too much.
Again, I'm speaking selfishly here, Joe, so don't mind. And last comment from me. It will be interesting for the next Diamond Head album to see how the songwriting not have changed, how much that your time with Saxon will, I don't know, what will be the effect on the songwriting for Diamond Head?
It's bound to have an effect. I mean, since I've been learning the material and practicing it at home, I have come up with ideas that are faster and heavier, because I think, oh, that could be a good Saxon riff, rather than, but that might not work for Diamond Head. I've just record them and I think, oh, that'd be good. So I'm constantly trying to come up with new parts, new ideas. And I think that's what Biff likes. He likes the material coming in so he can live with it and start thinking it through and thinking towards the next album. I think that's how he likes to work. People send him ideas and he makes up a list. These are good. These I can put on the back shelf.
Brian, thank you very much.
Okay.
Have a great time touring. Stay safe.
Thank you very much.
And
looking forward to it.
In the States.
Yep. See you in the States.
Absolutely. Have a great rest of your day, man.
Thank you. Bye.